up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what we hope to be a fantastic episode of the RFR Rundown. That is when myself and my buddy Swag Jeff go through all the fantastic articles and news bits and stories that happen throughout Raider Nation throughout the course of the week. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Swag Jeff.
Yeah. Good to be back.
Yeah, man, you missed RFR Live last week.
I've missed the last 2 live shows, man. I'm jonesing now.
What are you doing?
I'm jonesing now.
What are you doing, all being a dad and stuff?
I know, right? Well, we had the comp interview last week.
Yeah, that was killer,
and
man.
I was still riding high, so I was okay, but now I'm jonesing, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get back into it.
Time to dive back in, man. So appreciate you being here for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, good stuff. So we got, only the end of May, like the dead of the dead season. But we have all of the Raider news to get to tonight, don't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do. We've got so much stuff to give to you.
So much to get to that we had to resurrect, if you will, one of our old segments. We have the 4-minute offense that Mosh and I did this this is going back a couple years. We hadn't done this in a hot minute. And it's a lot of fun, but it was a good way for us to try to cram in multiple stories into a short segment, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to resurrect that tonight. We're going to bring back the 4-minute offense. We've got 5 quick hits to get to within the 4-minute offense. And then there was also a lot of great articles written.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Jerry had a great article and I can't remember who wrote the article that the first article that we're doing with Bowden.
Oh, with Lynn Bowden.
Yeah. And
that might have been Vinny Bunt Sr. from the Review Journal. I can't remember
we
either.
Love him too, right?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. No, it was Paul Gutierrez, ESPN.com.
Oh, right on.
It was Paul Gutierrez. Good. Yeah. And who was it? Well, former Mercury news writer.
Yes.
Along counterpart of Jerry McDonald.
Yeah.
As Jeff mentioned. And so anyways, we're going to talk about those articles tonight and some really, really good stuff to get to, really interesting stuff. So anyways.
But before we get to any of that.
Okay, wait a minute.
Before we get to any of that.
What do you got, Swag?
So every episode of the RFR Rundown, it seems like we have gushed and talked about a particular player.
Are you talking about Mariota Nation that has taken residence in the fan cave?
Mariota Nation that I am the president of.
Yeah, you are. Well,
but we have all kinds of stuff to talk about, but Marcus Mariota is not one of them. So I'm doing my due diligence for an episode of the RFR Rundown to talk about what a great quarterback Marcus Mariota, number 8 for the Las Vegas Raiders, is.
Oh, my gosh.
And he might be our future. I don't know.
He might be. So we're going to have to come up with the Swag fan corner where you just get to soapbox for what do you, a stand. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, the stand corner.
Aloha corner.
Swag stand. Aloha corner. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're just going to take a portion of every show for me to show appreciation to Marcus Mariota, who has never played a snap for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, look. So I have apparently the last 2 seasons I've had a thing for guys that have not played a down for the Raiders yet, but they're my favorite player. So, but we're comparing apples and oranges here because we've got he who will not be named.
Yes,
that kind of wore an 84. And then the guy that just wore the 8.
Just wore the
8, man.
And already bringing more respectability to the number than the 84 guy ever did, right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
You know, neither one of them technically were ever a Raider, right? Because neither one of them has taken a snap yet on the field for the Oakland / Las Vegas
Well, and Mariota's
Raiders.
not going to take a snap till about week 6.
Well, that's true, but he'll dress for a game anyways.
Oh, well, he'll take some snaps in the preseason.
Yeah,
he'll play a majority of a couple of the preseason
so he'll
games.
Officially at one point be more of a Raider than that other guy for sure.
Well, he's already more of a Raider.
So, so let's go ahead. So I got about a 30-minute window here set for you to
talk
about Mariota,
and we're not going to gush too much.
Just 30 minutes.
Because he's my second favorite quarterback.
Hey, there you go.
He's my second favorite quarterback. My favorite quarterback still wears a number 4. And he has a car on the back of his jersey.
Oh, there
you know what?
Go.
Yeah. And so you know what? So I hope I never see my guy.
There you go.
I hope I never see my guy.
Likely won't.
Yeah.
You likely won't.
I hope not.
Hope not. And so, anyways, we're just having a little bit of fun here because we've got a lot of awesome feedback from Raider Nation about this. Actually, and like Jeff and I were talking about before the show, while we've heard some people with that, gosh, you guys talk about Marcus Mariota a lot, and we have, and we own that. Because it's one of the more interesting conversations to have, frankly, going into the season.
Well, yeah.
But you know what? We were very surprised by the lack of negative response. Like, we hadn't got people coming at us being like,
maybe one or two people that have said something like, hey, what the hell, guys? What are you doing?
Yeah.
But no, people just aren't saying anything, which kind of, silence is kind of the agreeance of Raider Nation on some aspects. You know what I mean?
People just saying like, yeah, guys, great job. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, great stuff, guys.
Yeah. So, and that's not me, trying to amplify any of the complimentary messages, but it's just more to identify and to illustrate to you all out there that like people are more on the fence than you think. Like,
yeah, people are frustrated.
People are frustrated, man. People are open to new ideas, and so, anyways, that's
we're going to talk about it later. That this amazing new stadium that we have, we want to fill that with some W's, man.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yes.
So Derek. Time to step up, bro.
Do it, Derek. Be that guy. Derek was throwing a whole bunch this week. Did you see that?
Oh, my gosh. It was awesome.
Great videos. Him throwing to Ty Williams and the guys, man.
Yeah.
Looking good out there, fellas.
I mean, love it.
Everybody looks good in shorts, but you know what I mean? Still.
Yep. I'm waiting for number 11 and 89 to join him out there.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to be awesome.
So good.
So good. So let's jump into the 4-minute offense. So here's how it goes. So we got a little kickoff, a little John Gruden, of course, to get it started. As soon as John Gruden is done, Swaggo is going to jump in with the first story. We got 5 stories to get to in 4 minutes, and we're going to have a timer. So as soon as Swag starts, I'm going to set the timer, and it's going to count us down through the 4 minutes. So, all right, Swaggo.
Sir.
Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, you're in. Your cue's after Gruden.
Okay.
We're not posing for football cards now, offense. We're not posing for football cards. Let's play with some speed. Plays on this script of the plays that are coming. Here's the answers to the test now. Huddle up, huddle up, huddle up.
Okay, so the first topic we're going to be talking about is we were talking about Tales from the Nation. Tales from the Nation, which is still not released because Murf has not edited that episode yet. We will be doing that soon. But we were talking about draft picks, greatest draft picks in Raider history, where we're going to talk about some great Raider draft misses.
Ooh.
So back in 2016, with the 44th pick in the draft, the Raiders select Jihad Ward. The next pick, number 45, was Derrick Henry. Ooh, ouch. That hurts. 2007, obviously, we draft Jabustis Russell, and the number 2 pick was Megatron. Ooh, that hurts.
Ouch.
2005, with the 23rd pick, the Raiders draft Fabian Washington. With the 24th pick, Aaron Rodgers.
Ouch.
2004, with the number 2 overall pick, Robert Gallery. Number 3, Larry Fitzgerald.
Ouch.
2002, the 23rd pick, Napoleon Harris. Pick 24, Ed Reed, which would have been a great Raider. 1997, the 72nd pick of the draft, Adam True. The 73rd pick, Miami selects Jason Taylor. 1983, the 26th pick of the draft, the Raiders select Don Mosbar. The pick 27, Dan Marino.
Oh,
Murf, you're up.
Gosh, those would have been the greatest all-timers. Okay, so next up, so speaking of Raider draft picks, last year the Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders, select Josh Jacobs and also Cleveland Ferrell in the first round. And just if you ever were wondering why the Raiders would pick a couple of young men like this, clearly their play on the field is showing you why they were picked, but also their dedication and their loyalty, not only to their craft, but to their team, as these young men got inked up this past week, or at least displayed it on social media. They brandished their Raider shields on their arms, and I love that idea that you got
shout out Ted
guys.
Boutron.
Absolutely, and so and we'll talk about Ted and the tattoo study, but these 2 young men showing their dedication to the team and to the Raiders. Max Crosby, you're next up.
Max, absolutely.
Max.
So the schedule came out last week. We're talking about the bye week. So Josh or Murf, how many times has the Chiefs played the Raiders after the Raiders had a bye? It seems like it's about every year.
Every year.
Well, it actually isn't. It's actually only the 6th time in the last 10 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, so after the Raiders, playing the Raiders before a bye, it's the 6th time in the past 10 seasons that it's happened. The Chiefs are 4-1 of those games. The Raiders have had a bye in the past 27 seasons before playing KC. Hold on. So Andy Reid is 18-3 after a bye in his career. The Raiders are 3-14. Something's got to change there. The Chiefs are on a 4-1 in this span when facing the Raiders following a bye, and a 9-4 when not having a bye. It's time to step up. Time to step up. DC, we're talking to you. If not, Marcus Mariota, start warming up.
So speaking of the Chiefs, the greatest Raider of late is Rodney Hudson, the greatest player at his position on our football team. In case you were wondering if that's the case, the man that came to us from the Kansas City Chiefs. He is wow. Don't fumble on words in this drill.
Come on, man.
The reason that he is the greatest player at his position is because he has the highest single-season pass blocking grades for centers since 2010.
Whoa.
That's right. Since 20. Dang it. Rodney Hudson leads the league the last 5 years in pass blocking grades for all of the centers. Take us home.
Holy cow. Okay, take us home. So, the Raiders have a new stadium. If you haven't heard, they moved to Las Vegas, and they're building Allegiant Stadium.
When did they do that?
This past offseason, they did it. Some people say it looks like a Roomba. Some people say it looks badass. I love it. It's the Death Star, man.
It's a hockey puck.
And we've talked about, SeatGeek is talking about it. They said that they have more interest in the Raider Stadium, Raider tickets than anything else. We love you, Raider Nation. We're out.
And it costs. Well, it's a rookie mistake. The right here has got to go down.
Woo!
Sheesh.
Let's hit a break, man. Holy cow.
Please.
Catching my breath.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? This is Maurice Hurst with the Las Vegas Raiders, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff. Just win, baby. Thanks.
Oh my gosh!
Appreciate the big man there.
That was fun, man. Yeah, Mo Hurst. Yeah,
Oh, that too.
No
yeah,
free
yeah.
shout out. University of Michigan, Mo Hurst.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Big blue. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a fun segment, huh?
It's a fun segment, man. I'm wore out.
I know. We could literally we could have made a 30-minute show out of those. 5 stories.
It would have been more than 30 minutes.
Right?
We would have been talking for 30 minutes about the tattoo thing alone.
I know. You brought up Ted Boutron, and I'm glad that you did.
Absolutely.
We've got all kinds of information out there on our socials about the tattoo study that Professor Ted is doing. Ted is a professor at San Jose State University. I was a part of the study. I know Ramon now has been part of the study.
Yeah.
Kevin the Raider Nerd has been part of the study. It started off as a study of people that got sports tattoos.
Yeah.
And he heard from so many Raiders fans, and after my portion of it, he asked me if I would reach out to other Raider fans that I knew that had ink, and I did. And so now he's thinking about doing a sub-study on just Raider fans and their tattoos.
I love that.
Very, very cool. So
now, how long is that study going on?
Like the next few weeks, I think, still.
Okay.
Like he's interviewing like hundreds and hundreds of people in this
Well, I
study.
may need to call, because I'm getting a Raider tattoo.
Well, you better hurry up then.
I know. Well, I may just have to call him afterwards. He may just have to add like a cliff note to his study or
Just have
something
an
like that.
asterisk with swag.
Yeah, the Swag Jeff cliff notes.
It'll be like, why do you get sports tattoos of yourself? Because you'll get your Swag Jeff tattoo, your logo on you or something.
Yeah, that'll be on my ass. But I'll get the Raider shield on my calf or something like that.
Gross.
I know, right?
Yeah, man. Okay. Hey, so speaking of that.
Speaking of what?
Hey.
Speaking of your ace.
All right. So.
Speaking of your ass.
Okay. Speaking of the rest of you. You adorn yourself with the Swag Jeff shirt tonight. Tell us about what you got going on with the shirts, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm wearing a Swag Jeff shirt tonight, and we're in partners now. We've teamed up. We're teaming up with DC4L, customtees.com, and they're going to be, what we always say, we let the professionals be professionals.
Yes.
And we've teamed up with DC4L, and they're going to be making our shirts.
Yes. So don't buy any of them yet.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
but very soon, we're going to tell you to go to DC4L, follow a link or whatever it is.
Yes.
And anything you buy DC4L will go into our fundraising effort for the Stabler Exo Foundation.
Yep.
In the meantime, if you're going to buy something officially licensed Raiders stuff, please use our link. Go to RaidersFanRadio.com/gear.
Yes.
Hit that link, and then that will take you to the Fanatics website.
Yeah.
Where anything that you buy at that point, it could be Raiders, it could be other team related, doesn't matter. Just please use our link, and then it won't cost you anything extra, but a portion of those proceeds will then get kicked back to us, and then we will then take that money and give it to Stabler. Uncle Mosh announced this last week that we are already at almost $200.
That's amazing.
And now we've got got some new advertising opportunities coming up, Jeff.
Yeah.
That is probably going to jump us up another big.
It's going to go straight into the hopper, man.
Yeah, all into the hopper because everything that we make goes into that. So
absolutely. So I know Kevin the Raider Nerd's been chomping at the bit for a Tales from the Nation shirt.
It's coming.
That's coming, dude. It's coming, dude. Just be patient with us. We're almost there. We've been working with the guy Dan at DC4L, an amazing dude. He's so cool. I had a conversation with him a couple weeks ago for about 30 minutes. He's an awesome guy. But we're talking Tales from the Nation shirts, Swag Jeff shirts, Uncle Mosh shirts, Murph's Fan Cave shirts, RFR Live shirts. It's going to be amazing.
You even put a rundown shirt on there, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, and we've talked to, and
do you know there's people that listen to just this show?
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of feedback from people, like they love this rundown. And I'm like, that's so cool. Like I love that we have enough diversity in our lineup now in the Murph's Fan Cave feed that like some people don't like RFR Live. Some people don't like Rundown. Some people don't like this. But there's something, if you're a Raider fan, there's a show on this network
a show
now.
Here for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You may not like any of us. You only like the Fan Club Blitz.
Exactly. Which I got a new Fan Club Blitz coming up. Probably
maybe you
tomorrow.
only like Mikey. And that's coming.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But back to DC4L.
Please.
So all those shirts are going to be coming to you soon. So just hold on just a little bit longer. We're going to be getting those coming to you. And yes, and all the proceeds will go to the XOXO Stabler Foundation.
Awesome
which
stuff.
is an amazing thing. And we can't wait to present a check to them, to Kendra, and all that stuff. It's going to be so cool.
Very cool. Right on. Appreciate that, Swaggo. Appreciate Dan at DC4L, and looking forward to having a lot more to come for you, Raider Nation, on that front. All right, let's hit another break, and then let's get into some articles that came out this week.
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Will Compton. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with my boys Murf, Swaggy Jeff, and Uncle Mosh. Tune in because they fucking put out a banger podcast.
Wait, who was it?
Murf, Swag Jeff, and who's the third guy?
Yeah.
That's my new favorite clip.
Now, right there, he calls you Swag Jeff, but I know
Swaggy Jeff.
I know that you lit up when you heard him say Swag.
Oh,
Jeff. Draw that out.
Absolutely. Well, and then in the show, during that interview, which if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to that interview. It's kick-ass,
awesome.
man. It's so cool.
So good.
So cool. And he said when he was texting Cody, he said, "Oh, yeah, I think I heard from Jeff's podcast."
Yeah.
It's mine.
Yeah, that's your
Swag's Fan Cave.
Hey, you can have it.
Well, yeah.
I'll just guest on it.
Deal.
Okay.
I mean, I'm all about swag. Give me. I'll take all the stuff. I'll take all the stuff.
You can have it all.
Yeah. So speaking of having it all, the first interview or the first article that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about a guy that has it all.
Oh my gosh, the Swiss
Lynn
Army
Bowden,
knife, dude.
The Swiss Army knife, dude.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
Talk to me.
Yeah, so John Gruden likes playthings. He likes his toys. He likes his toys, and in the third round, he got that toy. He got that toy, and Lynn Bowden, he is currently the reigning Paul Hornig winner as the nation's most versatile player, and he's a first-team All-American as an all-purpose player. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's awesome. I'm excited about, one of my all-time favorite Raiders. I display his autographed jersey behind me proudly. Marcel Reese, number 45, fullback for the Raiders. He was a wide receiver by title at Washington. Then he came to the Raiders. He became a fullback. And then, the offensive coordinators and coaches started getting wise to the skill set that this man had. And Marcel Reese turned into a Swiss Army knife. Now, Marcel had about 40 some odd pounds on Lynn Bowden. But point being, though, is that you could put Marcel in at fullback. You could put him at tailback. You could put him at tight end. You could put him in a lot of different positions. You could split him out as a wide receiver. Like, you could do a lot of things with Marcel Reese. And back then, in the game, the NFL game itself has always been about a series of matchups, right? It's always about getting your best player on their best player, or getting your better player on their good player, whatever the case may be. It's all about matchups. Well, and nowadays, with the way that these hybrid offenses are working, like in the movement that they're capable of, like, it's all about getting people moving around, using motion, using a lot of like trickery in terms of your offense and your formations and whatnot. And so that's where Marcel, he just shined at that. He would come out initially in the formation at fullback, and then he would, or at tailback, and then go into motion and then split out or do whatever. And all of a sudden, you got him matched up on a linebacker, which is a completely unfair matchup.
Yeah.
He's going to win that matchup. And at one point, Like Marcel was the guy. You don't see fullbacks 20, 30 yards downfield splitting safeties, catching touchdowns. But that was what he was capable of. He was an amazing player. All right, so I said all that to say this. If Bowden is the new version of that, again, he's he's same height. They're both like 6'1", but I think he's like 206 and Marcel was like 250.
Yeah.
So smaller frame, but much more versatile though, even than what Marcel was. And some people want to compare him to Taysom Hill, the quarterback of the Saints, but that's a kinda, right? So elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah. So first off, Gruden, they did a mini install, kind of show him the game plan and stuff before they drafted him. And they spat out all kinds of stuff at him real fast. Hey, we got this and this and this and this and this. Well, Bowden was on the same page the whole time, was regurgitating everything back to Gruden. Oh yeah, I would do this right here. This is this right here. I mean, it's unbelievable. And after the interview, Gruden said, that guy's a freaking Raider. Oh, I mean, absolutely. Nice. Yeah. They compare him to Taysom Hill because he's just that versatile player. And when you think versatile player in the NFL, you think New Orleans Taysom Hill. Absolutely. And, and he's not that much of a guy, Bowden sits at 6'1", 206 is what you said. But they have him more of a running back and punt returner. So, so you're not going to see that guy line up, a pump blocker and all that kind of stuff.
Right, right. He's not as big as Hill is, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Size-wise, like height-wise he is, but as far as like mass goes, he's not. He's given up 20 some odd pounds. Yeah.
Absolutely. But, but in college, in Kentucky, I think that's Q-Dog school represent.
Absolutely.
He was a dual threat quarterback, 1468 rushing yards, which is in the SEC, which is the 11th in the FBS. 7.9 yards per carry, led all qualifying FBS rushers. And this was despite him playing receiver the first month of the season. I mean, 4 weeks he played receiver. And then was still 11th in the FBS in rushing yards as a dual threat quarterback.
So here's what this is the Murf take on it. All right, this is just Murf theory. All right, and this is just my fan theory. It doesn't mean anything, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I'm just telling you where my brain goes as a fan. Okay. I don't think he's as much Taysom Hill as he is a taller version of Julian Edelman. Because if you think about what Edelman did at Kent State, Edelman was a quarterback. That's really what Bowden is. And he's got much more wide receiver framing than he does running back framing.
Yes.
I think the reason that he's listed as a running back was because they need a spot to put him. Like I think in that article, they refer to him as the Joker. Like he's just like the wild card. Like you could just do with him whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, with guys like that, like the Raiders once upon a time, you probably don't know this guy, Jeff, but they had a player named Taiwan Jones.
Okay.
Right? And so Taiwan Jones was just like this super fast, super athletic, like just this like crazy talented player. But he wasn't like some years they would put him down as a running back. Some years they would put him down as a corner. But mainly he was a special teamer. So what they did was it was like, okay, we got to fill out our 53-man roster. Well, we got a deficit here at this position. We'll call him a corner.
Sure.
Well, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's like, and I think that's why Bowden is listed as a running back.
Well, look at our wide receiver room. I mean, look at all the wide receivers that we have.
Exactly.
You can only keep so many on a roster.
And we're short, frankly, on running backs. And so it's like, you got Richard has got a very distinct role. Obviously, Josh Jacobs is the feature of it.
Yep.
So
and then who's the who do we get? Booker?
Exactly, Devontae Booker. And so then you fill out the room with Bowden. So I think that let's not like try to put him in a box and say he's a running back. I'm telling you, he's way more Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
You're going to see him all over the dang place. And think about what Belichick does with Edelman. He'll get him the ball. He'll put the ball in Edelman's hands behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And you'll see him throw the football. Like, I would not be surprised at all to see, follow me on this. I know I'm talking crazy, but you watch. Mark it now, whatever, here at the end of May. You watch. We're going to see a completion of like on a stat line, Lynn Bowden to Marcus Mariota for 30 yards.
Exactly.
Something crazy like that, where they're both in the backfield and some guy splits out and some, because think about it, defensively, if you got those two guys back there, you don't know who the hell's going where.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's not like we hadn't seen Marcus catch passes downfield before.
Exactly.
Like, I'm telling you, man, this is going to be maybe it's my fan. I don't know. Maybe it's the Madden fan in me. I don't know. But there's so many options. There's so much craziness that they could do with this offense. Because why else would you draft and sign players like Marcus, players like Bowden? Why else would you bring them in if you weren't going to do crazy old stuff?
Yeah, think of an unbelievable wild card or wildcat scenario where you have Josh Jacobs, Marcus Mariota, and Lynn Bowden in the backfield. Where's that ball going? You have no idea. So Lynn Bowden runs the ball. You know, he was a dual threat quarterback, played wide receiver, all that stuff, but he ran the ball unbelievably. So in the 8 games that he played quarterback, he ran for at least 100 yards in 7 of those 8 games and ran for 99 in the other. But in those 8 games, he averaged 171 rushing yards per game, including a 284 rushing yards against his rival Louisville. The SEC rushing record per game is held by a guy named Herschel Walker, who averaged 170.
Oh, just him?
Yeah, just Herschel Walker, who averaged 171.9 yards a game. So he was 0.8 yards away from passing Herschel Walker as the all-time leading yards per game SEC running back, quarterback, whoever. And this guy's a quarterback, and he's throwing touchdown passes.
This is fun, man. This has been a fun draft. Last year was a fun draft, no doubt. Last year was a good draft. It's funner now in retrospect because we now know what Max Crosby turned into, right? We know even what Trayvon Mullen is going to probably turn into.
Yes.
So, and then obviously Josh Jacobs leads the charge.
Jonathan Abram,
it's easy to be excited about that. This draft, though, like in terms of versatility, potential, explosiveness, flashiness, like all those things, man, like thinking about Bryan Edwards in the back of the end zone catching a fade from Derek Carr, thinking about all these versatile options that they have in the backfield, like thinking about all these things that, thinking about a guy like a Meek Robertson and the intensity that he's going to bring to the secondary.
And we're bringing winners in, man.
Yes.
We did it last year, and we're doing it almost, I feel, even more so this year because you got Ruggs, who obviously has a national championship or 2 under his belt. You got Bowden, who he won the Belk Bowl his last game as a Kentucky Wild or whatever cat, Wildcat, and he had 233 rushing yards in that game, which is an NCAA bowl record for a quarterback, and he had 2 touchdown passes on top of that, and a game-winning 13-yard touchdown pass with 15 seconds left in the game. I mean, and then of course you got Bryan Edwards, who is the all-time leading at
Tanner
South
Muse.
Carolina.
I didn't mention Tanner Muse yet.
Tanner Muse, who's
going to be a
accustomed
linebacker.
to winning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like top to bottom, this draft. I mean, they just drafted winners. They know how to win, and they did the same thing in free agency. Marcus Mariota knows how to win. I mean, you got Corey Littleton knows how to win. He picks off Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. All that kind of stuff. We're bringing winners in here, which is what we need.
Absolutely, man. This is exciting, man. It's really fun stuff, and I can't wait, dude. I can't wait for Vegas. I got my tickets not for the game, but I got my tickets for Vegas. Hotels booked. Going to be there for week 1, and man, I can't wait. And I hate you're not going to be able to.
I hate that.
I hate that, but man, I know you'll be there in spirit.
You need to just hang out by the stadium. What do they call people that sneak into a Broadway show? Have the second actors or whatever that sneak in with the smokers. Oh. You just need to do that so you can get in the building.
Just slide on in the building.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I'll be what do you call it when the stowaway? I'll be a stowaway.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, somebody put me in their carry-on.
Hide in Mojo's meat bag or whatever. Easy with the meat bag.
So, all right. So, what the hell is that? Jeff?
Is a meat bag.
Hey, easy with the meat bag.
Easy with the meat bag.
Oh my gosh. All right, Swago, next up on the list, we got another article interesting this week.
Yeah, we do.
So fired up as we are for the Las Vegas Raiders, at this point we have left the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum in our rear view. As sad as that is, and as sad as that notion is, frankly, it's just a necessity for the Raiders to get to where they did, and we're going to talk about that later on when we get to the Jerry McDonald article. But in terms of the city of Oakland, we've said from the very, very beginning that our hearts are with Oakland fan and frankly any Bay Area Raider fan that that made their way to the Coliseum on Sundays, set up for the tailgate. You got to experience that firsthand this last year. I mean, it's an experience that's second to none. The people are second to none, and the whole thing is just it's unmatched in the league. And so for those folks, we always felt for. But in terms of like the politicians and the bureaucrats in the city of, all they did was fight the Raiders from start to finish, and we're highly hypocritical at times, and up to and including the most recent lawsuit that the city of Oakland filed against the Raiders, and frankly the NFL, where they said that the Raiders violated antitrust laws by leaving Oakland and moving to Las Vegas. This is after 40-year history of fighting with the frickin' city and the county trying to get a new stadium established. This is after, most recently, the mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf, campaigned openly against the Raiders, openly against any kind of funding, openly against any form of support, and forced the Raiders' hand eventually to Las Vegas. So after all that battling of the Raiders to working against them, getting their own facility there at the Coliseum property, now they turned around and wanted to sue the Raiders. And guess what happens when you sue the Raiders? Well, the Raiders are a franchise of what? The NFL. So when you sue the Raiders, you're suing the NFL, Oakland. And guess what? The NFL doesn't like that. And the NFL has higher priced lawyers than you do in the city of Oakland. And you know what it's like? When I saw this thing come out, a couple of years ago now or whenever it was such an exercise in futility. It was an attempt. It was a political attempt to save face. And, I don't live there anymore. I haven't lived in the Bay Area for a very long time, but just looking back on it and having at least a history in that area, and now looking on the way that they treated that team from the onset to where they are now, it was an incredibly it's a ridiculous scenario. I mean, I would have had more respect for the city of Oakland if they would have said, you know what? It didn't work out. Sorry. See ya. Good luck in Vegas. Goodbye. That would have been fine. But instead, they wanted to drag it out and save face and make it political. And guess what happened? Well, this last week, a judge dismissed the city of Oakland's lawsuit against the Las Vegas Raiders on Thursday. This is after, of course, the Raiders requested the NFL for the approval for them to relocate to Las Vegas. That was in 2017. So, as I mentioned, the city of Oakland claims that the Raiders violated antitrust laws. Well, I did a whole more fundamentals on antitrust laws, and I'm not going to revisit the whole idea of that segment, but the basis of it is this. Antitrust laws were put in place to prevent things like price fixing, bid rigging, monopolies. It wanted to allow for a fair market to be established. So you and I in our working relationship are very familiar with this concept.
Yes.
You can't have a manufacturer dictate to a seller, okay, you're going to sell my product for this price, and hey, you other seller, you're going to sell it for this price, and hey, you other seller, you're going to sell it for this.
Exactly.
You can't do that because it rigs the market. You have to allow for the free market to play out. So the whole basis for their lawsuit was goofy to me to begin with, because how can you say that the free market hasn't played out when the NFL, a private corporation, just decided, you know what, we don't want to be here in your backyard anymore. We're going to move to the desert. And the owners, the collective 32 owners, voted in its approval for that relocation to happen. And only one team voted against it. There's a good trivia question for you, Swaggo. You want to guess who it is?
Pittsburgh.
Good guess. Oddly enough, the Miami Dolphins. Stephen Ross, because he invested $500 million of his own money into Hard Rock Stadium to renovate it, and he was butthurt. The Raiders got $750 million in public funding from the city of Las Vegas and the hotel tax from the state of Nevada and all that stuff. So he was butthurt about it, and he voted against it. The funny thing about that is that by voting against it, even that still happened, the Raiders still had to pay the relocation fee of like $370 some odd million, right? Which split up 32 ways equals like $11 million for Stephen Ross. So that guy still made money on the Raiders moving.
Right.
But anyways, I digress. The point of this whole thing is that the notion of the lawsuit was silly to begin with. Free market did get established. And guess what? The free market played out, and the city of Oakland is now, this thing is officially, completely put to bed. And we battled not directly, but indirectly with a lot of other fan content creators, folks that really rallied for Oakland. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not talking about the ones that were rallying for Oakland in terms of their passion as fans, but the ones who were rallying in terms of like keeping their brand or keeping their agenda or whatever.
Right.
Just like the city of Oakland in this case was trying to rally to their agenda. Well,
Exactly.
guess what? It didn't exist. And you know what, you know what, Oakland? You didn't do yourself any favors. It's sad. It hurts. All of us wish they could have stayed, but the combination of I'm not going to make this political. It's not political, but just know where I'm coming from on this. But when you look at the state government and ultimately the city government, it's like an impossible task to build a goddamn stadium in the Bay Area.
Right.
Forget it. I can't believe the Niners even got it off the ground to begin with. But anyways, point being, this thing is dead. It's over. And sadly, this was the freaking death knell. This was the final nail in the coffin to the Oakland Raiders.
Absolutely. Well, and you talked about, people that hitch their wagon to, you can't hitch your wagon to the city. Hitch your wagon to the shield. In terms
of fans?
Yes. Some of those people and some of those content creators and clothing people and all that stuff to stay in Oakland. Where are they at now? Because they're gone.
They're gone. And some of those were good folks. Like some of those, are friends of ours. And again, people that that's why I wanted to lead this segment with that notion that the fan that rallied for staying. Well, yes, of course. And again,
absolutely.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? But rallying because that was their passion. That was their Sunday mornings to get to the Coliseum and to tailgate and to do that. But they're not promoting brands, right? Those people that's not what they were not trying to promote self through that. They were trying to save their experience. And that attempt, I got nothing but respect for. And
for sure.
I still got my Stay in Oakland sign sitting right over there. But the ones that wanted to do it because their brand was suffering, because they were no longer going to be associated with one thing or another, those are the ones that we,
right.
I want to say I even took umbrage. It's not even that because we don't have beef around here. That doesn't exist. But it was like we had multiple conversations with 2 or 3 in particular open. And you can, if you're fans of this show or listen to us or me long enough, gripe about this thing, you know who I'm talking about. So I'm not going to get into it. But point being though, is that this is now it. It's over. And I feel like we've been saying this for a long time. It's over. The Oakland Raiders are over since 2017. It's been a little bit of a slow burn as of late, but as of now, done.
Gone.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah. Tinfoil hats. Take them off.
Yep.
All right,
absolutely.
Let's hit a break, man. Whew.
Hey, Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
And goes down, and Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
Was that too much?
No.
No?
Okay.
No,
we're good.
Okay, all right.
We're good.
If it's too much, let me know, Raider Nation. I'm just speaking from the heart, man. I just,
That's all it is, man.
I got such emotion to this whole thing and into this team, and you know what it comes from? It hurt my feelings. It hurt as a fan of the Oakland Raiders since I was a little kid. It hurt my feelings that the people that are in charge of the decision making didn't take it with the amount of passion that the fan base did.
Yes.
That hurts. That hurts they don't understand how important the Raiders are to that region, what the mystique is, what that's built, the legacy. And it does. It hurt. That's why I get passionate about it, because it hurts, man. It that's what,
Yeah.
There's a little, little therapy here with Murph, but that's what it is, man. Anyways, sad. Okay. So that said, the Raiders are going to Vegas.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, look. So, there's a lot of places that the Raiders could have moved to. They tried to move to Inglewood, right? The NFL kind of shot that down. And I'm kind of glad now at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would have had to have shared that stadium with the Rams. And nobody shares with the Raiders, man. We are the Raiders. The Raiders are the Raiders, and that's it. We don't do no share thing. This ain't no Jets Giants stuff, man. We sure as heck weren't going to play at freaking Levi Stadium or.
No, hell no.
Hell no. You know what I mean? So. So the Raiders needed to be the Raiders, and if it took Vegas, out of all the other options that we had heard kicked around, San Antonio and other ones, I mean, Vegas is a pretty...
That's a Raidery town, man.
It's a Raider frickin' town, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Pirates in Vegas. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So anyway, so the Raiders are moving to Vegas, and Jerry McDonald had an amazing article this week on the Mercury News. Jerry's one of our favorites. He's as terms of writers go, beat writers go, he's the made of the made men. He's the capo of those guys that are left over. Jerry's such a good dude and so kind with his time and his endorsement of us through numerous outlets at times. Jerry had a great article about basically the concept of it was around the health of the Raiders. And so I mentioned all the battles that Oakland had with the Raiders, and Al Davis, all he wanted was a new stadium. Going back to before he left for Los Angeles the first time, the whole crux of any of the battles with the NFL were all around where the Raiders played in terms of location, as far as city, and in terms of facility. Like all the battles, everything, all the conflict that ever arose around the Raiders and Al Davis was because of that issue. Well, now as this article goes on to detail, those things are way in the past. Not only is Al's crusade against the NFL long over, but the dysfunction that arose around that is long over. Now they have a state-of-the-art stadium, a state-of-the-art training facility.
Yeah.
They have the dream hire in John Gruden.
Yes.
They have frankly turning out to be the dream hire of Mike Mayock.
Yeah.
You have the owner doing ownery things. You have the coach doing coachy things, and you have the GM doing GMing things.
Yeah.
Like the health of the organization from top to bottom and the functionality of those three head positions and how that trickles down from there.
Yes.
This is something that the Raiders team and as an organization hasn't seen as far as efficiency and high function.
Yes.
Jeff, we haven't seen this since Al Davis was at his height. I'm talking late 70s, early 80s, Al Davis. That's the way as far as efficiency and again, high function, appropriateness, all of those things, professionalism. That's how long it's been. It's crazy.
Well, and to add to your point right there, you got all the people doing the right things, but you got a town that's doing the right things too. They're building that stadium. And, when people were worried, is it going to be finished? Are they going to have to go play somewhere else? Are they going to have to go share a stadium with the out in LA? Or are they going to have to try to go back to Oakland, which obviously that was shut down pretty quickly. But not only is that stadium going to be done in time, but they've exceeded all expectations with $549 million in sales of personal seat licenses. I mean, that's...
But wait, no one's going to buy season tickets.
Right.
It's only going to be visiting fans are going to show up.
Neutral. Yeah, neutral fans. Yeah, give me a freaking break.
Give me a freaking break, man. Absolutely. And so, I just, as much as I just rhapsodized about being kind of heartbroken about the Raiders' departure and what the way that the city treated them and the lack of cooperation there, I'm also the opposite side of that in terms of now what we have, because we were the team with, or the facility with poo running through the dugout during A's games. We were the team with dirt on the infield still in 2019.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Team with the extended stay that smelled like
homeless
cigarettes
sex
and homeless sex.
Yeah. Or the team with the practice fields that were so mushy that the guys were turning ankles, and you hear all these horror stories about the conditions of things. And frankly, that was all because of the way that it was structured, because the Raiders didn't have control over that. The city and the county controlled all that. The Raiders didn't own the Coliseum.
Right.
So anyway, I'm not going to go back on that again. But anyways, point being though, is that we were always the fans of the team that had to do more, because we had to win in spite of that. Not only in spite of the fact that we were more penalized, but in spite of the fact that we had weak ass, training facilities, and we had a weak ass stadium. Although we loved it, it was weak. It wasn't weak ass to me as a fan, but in terms of you know what I mean?
Conditions and all that stuff. Yeah.
Conditions and amenities and all that stuff. It was out of date. So now to be on the complete, like in a year's time, to be completely on the other side of this thing.
Yes.
And now we have this freaking gem in the desert, and it's gorgeous, dude.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Allegiant Stadium is freaking beautiful, man.
Yes.
And all that Roomba BS and like hockey puck, whatever, haters. Like, you could call it whatever the heck.
because they ain't us.
Hey, you call whatever you want, because when we're sitting in that stadium and they open up that far glass door and we're looking out on the Las Vegas Strip and you're looking at downtown Cleveland, suck it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, that thing is freaking beautiful, and they're gonna have the big torch and the holographic flame and all that. Like,
so
come
cool.
on, man, it's so awesome. And so, we met Mark Davis at the Blitnikoff Foundation dinner this year.
Yes.
Could not have been nicer.
Oh, it's great.
Could not have been more gracious to us, and took time to chat with us. And he didn't have to. This guy owns the freaking Raiders, and he took time to chat with some knuckleheaded fans.
Yep.
And shared them. And it's really cool to meet people that are easy to root for in those terms. And so, you know what? Mark Davis has caught a lot of grief for what he drives and where he eats and how he cuts his hair and how he dresses and whatever, yada, yada, yada. The guy is now at the helm of one of the most successful franchises in the NFL. We deify Al Davis. Mark Davis has accomplished more, not on the field yet. Hopefully that's to come. But off the field, he's accomplished more than his dad ever did.
Yes.
And you know what? If you can't give him respect for that, then I got no love for you on that, because I'm telling you, Mark Davis has done a lot, and it's impressive. Commended for that, man. Absolutely.
Absolutely, for sure.
You got anything else, Swaggo?
Yeah, so you talked about, being the villains of the NFL, the hated team of the NFL.
Always.
City of Oakland was not doing them any favors, and we're the most penalized team in the NFL, and seems like just the bad boys, obviously.
Do more with less. We've always had to.
Absolutely. Well, now we're on the other side of that, which is pretty cool, because now, yes, we're still the league villains and all that stuff, but now the NFL has a lot invested in the city of Vegas. They're all about doing the whole, doing the gambling stuff and all that stuff. They're kind of all about that now. They're kind of getting
they're
more
embracing
they're embracing all that. And so, so now, the Raiders have brought them there. They were obviously all about the gambling and stuff before, but now the Raiders are there, and they're Vegas's team. And so I think it's cool that, maybe things are going to start shifting. We can still be the bad guys, but maybe we can start getting some better calls with the referees and stuff like that.
There's a reason that we played so many international games on, you know what I mean? Home international games was because not only because the NFL didn't like the Coliseum, the NFL as a whole didn't like the Coliseum, didn't want it on prime time. And so they started moving our home games away. But then also, I think that was a little bit of, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. You play these home games on the road, and then we'll help you with that approval. And so don't you know that those kinds of things build good grace?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm with you, Jeff. It's starting to shift.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's nice. We keep going back to the Oakland thing, and and obviously much respect to everything that the Oakland Raiders did, but the Las Vegas Raiders now have a partner in Las Vegas. They're partners.
Vegas
now.
loves the Raiders.
Vegas loves the Raiders. Which is something that the Raiders haven't felt in a very long time. And so that's just only going to make this even better. It's going to be so cool.
Doesn't it make you think about no wonder that that Mark Davis wanted to move? What would you do? If you're dating two people and one of them is mean to you all the time,
exactly,
and sometimes poos on herself, and the other one is super hot and wears nice dresses.
Yeah, wears this slick black dress.
Yeah,
that lights up the night sky of Vegas.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Nothing but good things coming from Vegas. Nothing but good things.
That's right. That's right.
From top to bottom. From the
yeah, you did.
Just ask Max Crosby. All right, man. You got anything else?
No, man.
That's about it, man.
I'm done. I can't sweat about Oakland anymore. I'm over here.
No, we're too busy drooling over Vegas.
Drooling over Vegas. Between Marcus Mariota and Vegas, man, this is just like a freaking crush fest over here.
Oh, my gosh, it's so good.
All right, appreciate you, Raider Nation. Appreciate you checking in with us. Don't forget, go to RaidersFanRadio.com/gear, and please spend a whole bunch of money over there so we can give it away to the Stabler XOXO Foundation.
Follow us on all social media.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so find us Facebook.com or Raiders Fan Radio Podcast, Instagram, Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio. You can follow _Murf, _Swag Jeff, Uncle _Mosh. You can follow all of us there.
He twits now?
Yeah, he's twitting a little bit. Yeah, he tweeted for my birthday.
He did twit for your birthday.
He tweeted for my birthday, but it was a day late in true Uncle Mosh fashion. I've known him 17 years, and he has never wished me a happy birthday on my birthday. It's always the day after.
Always the day after. And I loved it that this year, because for some reason on your Swag Jeff profile on your Facebook, it has the 23rd. Yeah. So Raider Nation told you happy birthday on your birthday.
Yeah.
Then a whole bunch of us that are your friends and close to you in your daily life, we wished you happy birthday on your birthday. And then here's Mosh tags
I got
it
3 days. Yeah, it was like my birthday weekend. Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely good stuff. Well, happy birthday, by the way.
Well, thank you, man.
You're Marcus Allen now.
I'm Jack Tatum. Still.
Oh, you're still. Oh, that's right, because you're 31.
I'm 32 now.
Oh,
which is
that's
still
what I
Jack
said.
Tatum.
So you did double Jack.
Yeah, double Jack.
Because he was 31 when he came in, and then he went to 32.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, which I'm all about Marcus too, but Jack Tatum.
No, Jack. Yeah, go double Jack.
Assassin, man.
Double Jack.
I'm all in.
I like that. All right, man. Have a good night.
All right.
See.
Peace.